This is the bag that I took to the Urban Sketchers London event last weekend. It was very well attended at Moorgate in the city of London. It was a lovely day, sunny and bright and warm actually, even though it was a bit windy. Today I'm going to show you what I took to the event, what I used, and finally the artwork that I made during the day. This is a small Ecohub backpack that I think I got off eBay, I'm not quite sure. It has multiple pockets, and the best part about it is that it's a crossbody sling. I dislike backpacks that go over the shoulders. I find them very uncomfortable. So this one is really great. It also has this clip, so I can unclip it and take it off without pulling it over my head, which can dislodge my hat or just get stuck in the hood of my jacket as well. It has an adjustable strap and a padded back so that it's not uncomfortable to wear. It also came with this little phone pocket bag that goes over the strap, but I never really use it, I guess, so I keep it separately. One of the best features of this bag is that it has a little pocket right at the back of the bag towards where your back goes that you can put all your valuables and your phone, etc. in. Let's explore what's actually the rest of the bag. There are two water bottle pockets. In one of them, I have the bottle in which I put the used water from my watercolors, which I'll show you in a minute. And in the other one, with these useful toggles so that the bottle stays in and doesn't fall out, is my reusable water bottle, which actually has stickers by a number of people that you might know. That has my water for both drinking and painting with. So that's the two pockets there. Over here, there are two more pockets, one on this side and one here, which currently are empty. Oh, this has this has blister plasters in it, but you could put anything in there. I didn't take very much, but like if I was traveling, my tickets and things could be in there. In the front pocket, and it also has these very convenient things, so when you put your zips in, you can lock it like that, so for security and things. The other thing I really like about this backpack is that the pockets open fully, so I can see what's inside. Random tissue. This is a plastic bag that I've cut open, that I can sit on if I need to, if the ground is wet. I went to the Barbican actually to renew my library card. So they just gave me a bunch of information. That's not included in my kit, obviously. Then I have my watercolor stuff. Quite a lot of bits in that front pocket. More tissues, just in case I go to a public loo or something and there aren't any there, but I also did use it for my watercolors. Clips, magnetic clips, which you have seen in my videos before. And my little Roman Szmal watercolor kit, which also I have shown you in videos before. I changed a few colors, I'll show you them at the end as well. So when I work, I pop this on a magnetic clip and it's really nice and secure. And this is a little bit of kit, which is a tennis cotton wristband, but I use it to wipe my brush on while I'm working, when I don't necessarily have tissues flying around all over the place. So if I've got the watercolor, I'm doing my water and wiping it on that. This is a little bottle that I got off probably Amazon. I don't really like buying things on there, but sometimes I just have to, which I use for my water. And I popped, oh, it's still a little bit wet inside, so maybe let me just pop that tissue in there so it dries out. I popped a little magnetic patch on there so that it does stick to my magnetic clips, whereas otherwise, I think it's aluminium, it doesn't really stick to that. So I have my water bottle on one and my watercolors on the other. And here's what is in the main pocket. Quite a lot can fit in here because first of all, it has this hook where you can hook your keys on or everything. It has this mesh pocket, it has this middle pocket, and then it has another little pocket at the back. One of the things I appreciate about this backpack is that it doesn't have a laptop sleeve, which I find extremely useless because I would put my laptop in a case anyway, so the sleeve just adds bulk and weight. So in here I have my stool, an odd orange sketchbook, my little travel sketchbook, and a packet of pens and pencils. And as you can see, there's quite a lot of space in here. One of the other features I didn't mention is that it does have a headphone pocket here if you have wired headphones. And that's it. And then it has a little hook over here. And that's the backpack. Let's come to the art supplies. I got this stool, again, off Amazon, which I could not find anywhere else really. It's a brand called Moonsea. It is a stool in a bag. It is, I think, 32 centimeters or something wide. And it folds up like this. And it unfolds to create a little stool. All these little bits fit together. And it opens up into a little stool. For my sketchbooks, I took two. One is this little sketchbook that I've shown you before. I think I've done a tour. I will link it up there and down in the description box below, where I do my travel sketches when I'm on the tube and such. I'll show you that in a moment. And then I took the Odd Orange sketchbook, which has got a little grubby, but this one is for watercolor, and I have been doing some plein air sketching in this, which is why I thought I would take it with me. It's really nice Bristol paper, and it's kind of like hot press watercolor paper, so it takes the materials really, really well. So I have the Odd Orange sketchbook, that little sketchbook, my watercolor palette on the magnetic clip, my water on the magnetic clip, a clip to hold my pages down, and my little wristband. In addition, I had my water bottle and this empty bottle to take the rubbish water from my watercolor in case I needed to change my water halfway through. And then I had this packet of pencils and pens and things. So let's have a look at that, and I will swatch them for you as well. This is a mesh bag from Muji that I've shown you before. I'll link it for you down in the description box below. As I've mentioned before, I do use affiliate links so that the minor income that comes from that doesn't cost you anything extra, but it helps me maintain this channel. I have my Tagal sharpener, which I've shown you before. The Posca brush pen. These are the new ones which have the brush tip. I really love these. I've got them in a few colors now. So the Posca white. My little spray bottle, which I use to wet everything. Very useful thing, and the water lasts quite a long time. This is a blending mister by Tombow. And then a whole bunch of pencils and pens. I took this Tombow Fudenosuke pen along just as a backup in case my fountain pens ran out of ink. And then the pens that I took were 3 in number. One of them, I've shown you this before in my fountain pen video, is the Hero 9018 Fude nib fountain pen. The second is my Lumos pen, which I think has a 0.8 nib in, I think. I only took 1/2 of my Lumos Duo. And a new pen, which I bought the body of it, which is the Studio Pocket fountain pen from Tom Studio. And then Tom Studio were kind enough to gift me the nib that goes in it, which is a Fude nib. So I must mark this as #gifted, #gifted. I'll put all the details in the description box below. So that is a Fude nib, and I had sepia ink in this one. In addition, I had my travel watercolor brush. This is the Tintoretto number 6 squirrel hair. I believe they also make this in synthetic hair if you do want the shape without the animal hair in it. Absolutely one of my favorites, and I think I will get the size 4 as well eventually. I took a mechanical pencil, the Faber-Castell Grip 1347.07. Sometimes I find it useful to draw the basic shape of what I'm drawing before I go in with the pen, just so I can keep my proportions right while I'm drawing. I also took my Tombow Mono Eraser. Didn't really use it though because I kind of used the eraser on the back of this mostly. I also took the Sakura Jelly Roll, a couple of graphite pencils, my favorite Blackwing matte, and my Faber-Castell Graphite Matte 14B. Didn't end up using those, but I took them anyway. And a whole bunch of color pencils along with one solitary Neocolor one, which again, I don't think I used that. The Kohinoor Magic Pencil, this is part of the 24 set, and it is these dark pinky colors. Apsara pencil in black. Derwent Lightfast Forest. Caran D'Ache Luminance 649 in Indanthrone Blue. Number 508 Payne's Grey. 407 Sepia. I really need to get replacements of these. Dark Sap Green 739. 719 Dark Phthalocyanine Green. That's a bluey green, that's a greeny green. I mean, yellowy green. I just took out a fresh pencil of that. 009 Black. And 046 Castle Earth. A little bit more scratchy than the sepia. Now let's quickly swatch out the watercolors so you can see what I changed since I first got this set. We have Buff Titanium, great color for buildings. Aquarius Orange, this is one of the original colors from the Urban Sketchers Roman Szmal set. Quinacridone Red, another original color from the Urban Sketchers set. Now this is a red that I mixed up from Winsor Newton Yellow and Quinacridone Magenta. It's just a color that I felt I needed which I couldn't get by mixing any of the other colors in here. Shadow Violet, original from the set. French Ultramarine, also original. The next two colors are also original, so Cobalt Sea Blue and Autumn Green. Then we've got Black. This is Mars Black, Winsor Newton. Burnt Sienna Brownish, which is original to the palette. Lemon Yellow, this is, I think, Winsor Newton. Nickel Azo Gold, which is original to the Roman Szmal palette. So here's the entire palette that I took with me. I think that I could definitely have eliminated some of the pencils. I think next time I'll take fewer. I'll take maybe the green, one brown, and the dark black pencil. The Kohinoor was nice, but I only actually used it in one place. I'll show you all the artwork I made in just a moment. The watercolors I think are great because they gave me a great deal of flexibility, from buildings to plants to brighter colors, especially this orange in the city, and the black to give me a little bit of muddiness when I needed it. Now on to what I actually made. Let's put this aside for a moment, because on the way there I actually used this sketchbook to do a couple of sketches in the tube. I did these ladies who were sitting right opposite me on the mat line. And I think I've said before that I use these pages to take my extra paint when I'm cleaning out my palette or when I've just got extra paint on my brush. So I have prepped pages underneath these drawings, and that's why there's color behind. I did not do that on the train, just the pen. This is from an earlier day. And then I did this gentleman reading the paper. He really had his nose in it. And these two people, this guy was on his phone and his legs was really stretched out. I thought it was a fun piece to do. And then at the Urban Sketchers, while I was waiting for some of the watercolor in here to dry, I sketched some of the Urban Sketchers themselves. And they did have some stamps on the day that you could put on your pages, which I thought was really, really fun. It's a good memory of the day as well. And they're specific to Urban Sketchers London with the Tower Bridge in this one. That is not London Bridge, people. That is Tower Bridge. London Bridge is very plain and boring, and it's the next one over. Just for your reference if you're coming to London. That is Tower Bridge. Okay, so I sketched these people. And let's come to the main event, the watercolors that I did on the day. I was a bit nervous because I'm not somebody that has sketched buildings a lot, but I did find for my first sketch this lovely scene with buildings in the background and a little kiosk that we were meant to meet by, like when the instructions were to meet at this kiosk in Finsbury Square near Moorgate in the city. My husband literally works around the corner, so he was like, go see my office. And again, here's another Urban Sketchers stamp as well that we put in. I started out with a little pencil drawing just to delineate where the little kiosk would go and a couple of the trees, and then to draw the bench because it was a little bit more complicated. And then I did all of the pen drawing with my Fude nib pen. And there was someone in the middle drawing, and I thought his jacket was so cool that I'd include him. And I did let him know afterwards that I put him in my drawing. And then after that, I did the watercolors in several stages, waiting in between for it to dry, which is when I did these sketches. And then I put pencil over the top just to get a little bit of texture. And the white dots are from my Posca pen. Some of them are dotted directly, and then some of them I took some of the Posca paint, diluted it, and then whipped my brush over the top to get that effect. After this, we had a throwdown at 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. So I showed that and the other sketches. And then after that, we had another session until 3:30. So I'd done part of this. Here's the stamp again. And when I put it down, some people had asked for my details, so I just put down my @ underneath there. And I drew the gate, and then I drew the scene opposite where there were some cranes. I'm not particularly unhappy with the gate. I think it could have been better, and there were 8 bars, not 7. I got that wrong. But this one, I like the tree and I like the buildings, but I got the cranes quite wrong. But I think I would like to draw it again. And it was a good drawing experience. I've never really painted cranes before. So those were the 2 drawings that I did. I didn't know a soul when I went, but there were a couple of nice people that I got chatting to, and I think I'm following them on Instagram now. So that's really nice. I would 100% go again as long as the dates line up. They're usually on a Saturday, so I'm doing family stuff or like other things come up. So hopefully I'll make it to another one. And if you're there, please let me know that you're going so that I can say hi to you. Thanks so much for watching. You might like to join my email list where I talk about art supplies geekery and behind the scenes stuff. Link is here.